case, would you please raise your right hand? I'll swear you in. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. You may be seated.
Since our nation's inception, we've had a reasonable expectation of privacy. This means that only with probable cause and a court order can law enforcement listen to an individual's private conversations or enter their private spaces. But when changes in technology hinder or prohibit our ability to use authorized investigative tools and follow critical leads, we may not be able to root out child predators hiding in the shadows or violent criminals targeting our neighborhoods. We may not be able to identify and stop terrorists who are using today's communication platforms to plan and execute attacks in our country. So we are in this quandary, trying to maximize security as we move into a world where increasingly information is beyond the reach of judicial authority, and trying to maximize privacy in this era of rapid technological advancement. Finding the right balance is a complex endeavor, and it should not be left solely to corporations or to the FBI to solve. It must be publicly debated and deliberated. The American people should decide how we want to govern ourselves in today's world.
For 5 minutes. Make sure your microphone's turned on.
Like in the San Bernardino case, the FBI hired a third party to help them break the code in that phone, and that was what we call gray hats, people who are sort of in this murky market. What do you think about that suggestion, Ms. Hess?
Yes, ma'am. That certainly is one potential solution, but that takes me back to my prior answer, which is that these solutions are very case-by-case specific. They may not work in all instances. They're very dependent upon the fragility of the systems or vulnerabilities we might find, and also they're very time-intensive and resource-intensive, which may not be scalable to enable us to be successful in our investigation.
Do you think there's any ethical issue with using these third-party hackers to do this?
I think that certainly there are vulnerabilities that we should review to make sure that we identify the risks and benefits of being able to exploit those vulnerabilities in a greater setting.
Well, I understand you're doing it because you have to in certain cases. Do you think it's a good policy to follow?
I do not think that that should be the solution.
Mr. Chairman, members of the subcommittee, thank you for allowing me to testify. My name is Chuck Cohen, and I'm a captain.
We haven't figured out a way that we can create an access point and then create a set of locks that are reliable to protect access through that access point. That's what we struggle with. We can create an access point and we can create locks, but the problem is that the keys to that lock will ultimately be available somewhere, and if they're available anywhere, they can be accessed by both good guys and bad guys.
Chairman, I'd like to start out with a comment that was made in the first panel.
If you allow third-party access, you have to give the third party a portal in which to exercise that access. Mm-hmm. This is fundamentally the definition of a backdoor, or a swinging door, as you've, I think, very aptly described it. There is no way that we know of to create that vulnerability, to create that access point, and more particularly, to maintain it. This was the issue in San Bernardino, was not just give us an access point, but maintain that access point in perpetuity so that we can get in over and over and over again. That, for us, we have no way of doing that without undermining and endangering the entire encryption infrastructure. We believe that strong, ubiquitous encryption is the best way that we can maintain the safety, security, and privacy of all of our users.
And Ms. Eshu from California, your 5 minutes.
Thank you.